All right. Hello, everybody. Trying something a little bit new today. Gonna see about streaming a recap of a game that happened earlier this week in Terra Mystica Tuesday League. This will probably. The hope is that this won't go much more than 45 minutes because I do have something to do in about that amount of time. But also, given that the game's already happened and the results have already been shared, I figure it's an opportunity to highlight one player's game in particular and kind of zip through certain parts of the game where there isn't as many interesting decisions happening, I guess. So we're going to give it a try. We're going to see how it goes. And hopefully, this doesn't take too much more than half hour, 45 minutes. So this was a game that happened earlier this week in America Division 1. Really strong table. We've got Ryan the Man, Deep Finesse, Matt the Lesser, and George Shortwell. Excuse me. So this is the setup after factions were picked. The way that I am reading this setup is, let's see, for bonus tiles, we've got a lot of coins and not a lot of workers. The other notable thing is that there's only one bonus tile in the game that provides points upon passing, which is the Dwelling Pass tile. So immediately that's all relevant. In terms of the scoring track, I'd say we've got like a medium to high scoring track here. A lot of options for good points. We got training post round 1, town round 2, which factions usually have a difficult time hitting, but you'll see in this game one person does manage to. We've got digs round 3, which is again a little bit early for real digging exploitation, but some factions can do a pretty good job of it. And halflings and darklings who are have already been selected here are pretty good at that. Trading post round 4, which is a really good scoring opportunity. Stronghold Sanctuary round 5, which a lot of factions have at that point enough resources where it's not too much of a sink. Not a high scoring event, but very possible for a lot of these factions to hit it. And then Dwellings late, which is almost always a good scoring opportunity. So the way I'm reading this setup is that there's not many points on the bonus tiles, but there's a lot of coins. And there's a decent number of points off of the scoring tiles, off the round bonuses. There's also really good cult rewards in this game. So you can see there's Spade event round 1 for water. We've got stacked Earth events, Spade, and coins in round 3. And we've got another Spade. We got an Air Spade bonus tile after round 4, and then Workers at the end of round 5. So this does incentivize folks to put a lot of priest to cults, as well as some other stuff that we will see as well. But let's get into it. So bidding starts with a couple players bidding on dark lanes. Ryan the Man speeds things up by jumping onto dark lanes at 30. And again, since the game results have already been posted, we're not going to try to keep this spoiler free or anything. Ryan the Man does end up on dark lanes and does end up winning this game. But it's a fairly close game top to bottom. But he plays a really nice game, so I figure may as well take the opportunity to highlight it here. What I think players have seen on dark lanes here is a generically strong faction that will probably have a pretty good leech position with this G5 hex here, based on the other colors that are in the game. And as well as dark lanes start with a priest in hand and a cult step on water and earth, which means they can have a leg up on these cult rewards that are pretty juicy to start the game off. So now we see a couple of bids go on witches. In this setup, I'm guessing what players see for witches here is mostly a strong economic faction and a game that rewards that. The other thing that should be pointed out is that there's really good starting bonus tiles for round 1 here as well. So Tempship, well, I guess in order, you'd expect Spade, Worker Power, Priest, and Tempship to all be very viable options for any combination of these factions here. So we see some more bidding on witches, some more aggressive bidding on darklings, Ryan the Man going down to 25. And we see our first bid on dwarves. And I think part of the appeal of dwarves here is, again, these stacked cult rewards, particularly the earth reward around 2 and 3, which dwarves often like to take earth 2, and they start with 2 steps on earth. So that looks good for them here, certainly. In addition, they're more of a culty faction than all of these other factions, which is a good source of points and a good source of economy since these cult rewards are so strong. So I think that's what these players are seeing here. But they get down to 33 here, 32, 31, there it goes. And Deep Finesse jumps over to Halflings at 40, which I think is a decent deal. Halflings have, I think Halflings have pretty good things going on for them here as well. This map is a little bit challenging for Brown in most cases. But in any case, I'm not going to get too into the weeds on starting positions. We're just going to see him go down. The most notable thing about these starting positions here is that Ryan the Man chooses to start double west here on Darkling, so G5 and G3. Matt the Lesser on Dwarves here in the middle, G4. Deep Finesse, as we mentioned, on Halflings. And then George Shortwell is on Witches here. So after starting placements, we've got what looks like a Leech party incoming over on the Western Fjord. So Darklings have first pick of bonus tile. They go with the Spade. Dwarves go with Worker Power. Witches go with Temp Ship, unsurprisingly, because they're able to reach a lot of hexes that way. G9, D2 on one chip on this map for a good opening. Which leaves Halflings with a Priest, which looks good for them with all of these cult rewards in particular. So, what was I gonna... Yeah, so... Excuse me. Okay, so getting into it, Halflings give the first upgrade here, and Witches immediately take the two workers action. My read on this is that Witches planned from the very start to do a stronghold opening this round. So now they've got 8 workers, 15 coins. So they're going to be able to open up with a stronghold and then 1, 2, 3, 4 dwellings, it looks like. This is, however, a pretty big bummer for dwarves here because dwarves starting on the worker power tile and starting adjacent here to witches, I think would have loved to get the upgrade over on this side and the double dig. That might have been a pipe dream. I guess it might not have evolved that way. But if I'm Matt the Lesser, that's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping for. Instead, Matt the Lesser upgrades with not enough power to take the double dig action and with wanting to get into this maximize incoming leech here. Ryan the Man also upgrades in the middle here. So George Shortwell is missing out on a little bit of leech here, having prioritized the worker's action for Stronghold. And with all of those upgrades, it gives Deep Finesse on Halflings enough for the double dig, since Halflings started with a little bit of a leg up on the power situation. So now we see Witches upgrade over on the Eastern Fjord, which makes a lot of sense because they know that they're going to be getting a neighbor. They know they're going to be getting an adjacent build on G8 from Halflings this round. And at this point, by upgrading next to Darklings, they're just giving Darklings more leech than they're getting in return. A lot of power actions get taken already, and a couple more to come this round as well. So Matt the Lesser ends up with the Priest, which looks good. Again, a lot of good cult rewards, and dwarves are a fairly culty faction here. Darklings do still have a Priest in hand, though, which they, as soon as it's threatened, immediately throw to Earth, which looks great for them. Again, there's these stacked cult rewards. Cannot stress how powerful these cult rewards are in this game, and these players do manage to leverage them pretty well. Deep Finesse builds out another dwelling here. I think looking to just get a little bit more leech when the upgrade comes from Witches, which indeed there's the stronghold right there. And now Matt the Lesser chooses to throw that Priest, instead of going to Earth, throws it right to water. So as soon as we see that, and we see that he doesn't have a cult step or coming off of a bonus tile or Priest in hand, first thing I think is Water 2's coming. So we'll see where that goes. Ryan the Man upgrades through Temple here and secures Earth 2, which, because of those cult rewards, great. Source of workers in a worker type game with plenty of coins available, also great. Already Darkling's off to a good start. And look at all the leech coming in for them as well. Halflings also take Earth 2. And then we see witches use their stronghold action to hopefully eke out a little bit more power over on this side. I think this is something that top level players tend to do really well, generally speaking, is in the opening round being able to see, being able to appreciate the importance of structure, power from structures, and really do what they can to maximize that as best they can given their priorities. So in this case, we saw that George Shortwell prioritized taking the workers action because the stronghold start was really important, and because the temp ship being 2 workers short here would mean that he couldn't utilize temp ship and get out more dwellings. As it is, he's sitting on 2 workers, 6 coins, and is going to be able to get out 2 more dwellings this round, which is a really, really strong economic start in a game that's fairly high scoring and tends to and will definitely reward that. So this is just one of those little moves where putting the timing it this way to be able to put down an F3 is going to get him a little bit more leech now and more later as well. It's also could be defending that hex as well, since Matt the Lesser has enough power for a spade here. But now that Matt's boxed out here, we see another trading post upgrade on this side. Couple of things here. This helps to leverage the scoring bonus for this round. It's another 3 points. But to me, it reads like a pivot, maybe one he sort of had in mind the whole time, to double temple opening. So I think what we're going to see here, although I've already watched the replay, so I know, but first time I saw this, my thought was we're going to see water 2, to be able to get that bonus cult reward, and then one other favorite tile, and we'll see. So now Ryan the Man has enough power to take coins easily here. And in doing so, Deep Finesse has the first pass to be able to pass on to a pile of coins as well. Witches continue building out their dwellings. Dwarves upgrade, take water 2 as expected. Now Ryan the Man was still sitting on that spade tile, is able to convert some excess power over to a worker to get an additional dwelling this round, which continues to look really good. More leech going around here. George Shortwell ends up with the single spade action to start to cut through the center here. Here's that second temple upgrade from Matt the Lesser, who ends up taking Earth 2. So all the copies of Earth 2 are gone at this stage, which again, given the cult rewards and everything else, work a tight game makes a lot of sense. So Darklings end up with some coins for next round, witches end up with a spade. Matt the Lesser bumps Earth to get a little trickle of power now and to continue advancing up that track. And then manages to pass on to dwelling bonus scoring. And now we've got cult spades from Matt the Lesser. And now we're into round 2. Round 2 is a town round. And initially it looks like there aren't really many factions that can be able to take advantage of that, but as we will see, one of these players does manage to make it happen. Unsurprisingly, the coins go first. So that was Deep Finesse on Halflings with coins. Despite getting the coins action and the coins pass tile here, Halflings still have fewer coins than Darklings do going into this round, which is pretty incredible. Immediately, Ryan the Man on Darklane snaps up the workers action. So this is where I want to start focusing on his game a little bit more, mostly for the sake of having the replay be less than 2 hours long. So at this point, Ryan the Man's sitting with 6 workers, 19 coins, and a priest. So it looks like a sanctuary upgrade this round is really beneficial and very, very possible. So in addition to that, he has a cult step right here on the pass tile, which gets him 1 step away from getting 2 spades off the Earth cult. So 2 and 2 does equal 4 here. He ends up taking taking Earth 1 as a source of scoring and to get him up on the track. So a couple things happen here. We see witches dig their way across this fjord and bridge to G9. So the town is becoming apparent here. We see Darklings bump up onto that 8 spot on the Earth Cult. Matt the Lesser, by the way, on Dwarves has the option to do this as well, with one priest to Earth this round, and then the 2 water 2 bumps, one from last time, one from this round. He's also going to be able to capitalize on these spade bonuses. A couple more dwellings getting built out. Meanwhile, something I didn't touch on yet, halflings with all those coins in the one priest in hand managed to upgrade ship to 2 here. So they, and I guess, I don't remember where the other priest came from actually. Maybe they held it in hand from the last round. It looks like they did. So he's planning on this from the start. So what this means is that on 2 ship, Brown has a lot of expansion possible on this map. There's going to be 2 more hexes, C4 and E9 here, that Halfling's going to be able to get on this round without any digs. So now Darklings dig down to H2 here, which is the 1 hex available to them on a single dig, I believe. So they can get out another dwelling, keep building their economy. And George Shortwell, Witches managed to score in a town round, which is awesome, in round 2, and to take the 2 key town, which no immediate benefits, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, no immediate cult benefits, not a lot of power coming in, but cult play is valuable in this game in general, could be a source of points later, and if Witches don't take it, someone else could run away with it. Some more dwellings being built out here. Deep Finesse does go north onto C4. Now Ryan the Man, having had a tight round building the Sanctuary and getting down a dwelling and some standing on the Earth Cult, manages to be the first to pass here, passes on to an additional priest, which we'll see shortly what happens there. So Ryan's going to the next round with 3 priests in hand, as well as a decent amount of other resources. So everybody else passes out of the round with really not enough resources to do anything meaningful, which frees up Deep Finesse to pass on to the 1 scoring tile. First is going to get out dwelling here and sets himself up nicely for this round 3 dig round. So Halflings have just upgraded digging once, are going to be able to upgrade again next round, and then it passes on to the dwelling bonus tile, which looks great. And then are going to have 6 workers to still play around with that could become digs. So we see those Colt Spades come in from Darklings and Dwarves, both of whom have dug a lot of times this game so far, which is awesome. And we see Ryan the Man is working his way here up through the center of the fjord, which is interesting. So up first, not enough power for power action. Ryan secures that hex immediately. Witches did have enough to double dig and build that hex, but Darklings had tempo on it. Interestingly here, George Shortwell hard digs. View's all messed up now. George Shortwell hard digs here to get down a dwelling on E4. Then, which means that Dwarves end up with a coins action, which is great for them. So a little bit of jockeying for hexes here, and then a couple of power actions taken. And let's check here, right? Deep Finesse then on Halflings managed to upgrade on the digging track, so is now at 1 worker for 1 dig, which is a great place to be during a dig round. Ryan the Man, we now see why he passed on to that other priest. So 5 digs here, basically, to open up the round. 2 on F4 to get down this dwelling, and then a triple dig on E5 to capitalize, to lock up that spot, which can help him connect to his other structures over here and compete for network long term, which is really good. And also to capitalize on the scoring rounds. That's 6 points from that triple dig for the scoring round, and then 6 from the scoring bonus, and then 6 points from the Darkling's just built-in power. There's a decent chunk of change there for points. Going a little bit fast here. We see some dwellings being built out here. Now Deep Finesse starts to capitalize on the digging round as well. So went into this round with about 50 points, a little bit less. With one dig grade upgrade and a bunch of digs and a dwelling pass tile, we're going to see how many points he ends up with at the end of this round. But mainly we're focusing on Ryan the Man's game here, who chooses to upgrade to a trading post here, has a lot of coins coming in at the end of this round. And you can see this is enough for a town, grabs the priest town. So I don't even know how many priests Ryan the Man has had so far this game, but it's a lot. Some more dwellings get built down. Everyone's carving out their space. Deep Finesse getting more dig points here. And now we can see Ryan the Man having formed the town and gotten a key, taken the priest town, gotten some points out of that, manages to lock out Earth Cult now, which is good for 10 coins worth of income. His game looks great. George Shortwell first to pass here onto some coins. We see Matt the Lesser get the 3 spot on Air Cult. And now Ryan the Man builds a bridge here over to F2 to avoid needing to upgrade shipping in order to get some digs down for next round. And obviously to build towards a town. Matt the Lesser continues being able to play pretty culty as dwarves here. Gets the first Priest of Fire as well. So dwarves have 1 priest on each cult and manage to get 3 of the 4 most valuable cult spots, which looks pretty good for them. The game's suffering a little bit in some other ways, but their cult presence is very strong in a game where that is could be a lot of points and a lot of economy. So now Ryan the Man passes on to the worker power tile, going into a trading post round. And witches, though having passed first, don't have a great leech position here and haven't managed to get enough power to secure the first power action of next round. Dwarves sneak a dig-ins for some points, pass on to that coveted dwelling scoring tile. And now we're on to round 4 here. So round 4 trading post round, usually a good opportunity to score. Checking in on the cult bonuses, we've got cult rewards for air, spade this round, and then fireworkers next round. So we're going to expect to see a decent number of priests going to those cults, as well as the cult bumps from favorite tiles and bonus cards as well. Checking in on points real quick. Deep Finesse, we said, started that last round at a little bit under 50 points, but with a dig upgrade, a bunch of dwellings on a dwelling pass tile, and then a bunch of, I think it was 5 or 6 digs here, manages to start round 4 here with 73 points, which looks pretty strong. Ryan the Man about 20 points behind that. George Shortwell about 10 points behind that at 43, and then Matt the Lesser currently with only about 34 points, struggling to score here and doesn't yet have a scoring favorite tile either. But round 4 trading posts, often a good opportunity to score, so we'll see what everybody manages to do. We see the first Water 1 take here by Witches, which again, not enough power to take a power action to start the round, but frees up Darklings for yet another coins action. I think this is a pretty big turning point in the game for Darklings here. Last round's cleverness, passing tempo going into round 3 for Ryan was really helpful. I think last round's cleverness to secure this territory here, F4, E5 in the middle, set him up well. But starting this round with coins action it's not really the nail in the coffin. He doesn't win by that many points this game, but it looks really, really good for him here. Excuse me, quick drink of water. Okay. So it is a trading post round. As expected, we see some trading posts come out. Second copy of Water 1 gets taken by dwarves here. At this point, most folks are just building out their trading posts, sharing power all the way around. Ryan continues taking a lot of efficient power for structures here as well, and is offered a lot of it. Upgrades the temple, secures his copy of Water 1. and is up to 3 priest production for the last 2 rounds, which is both helpful and good for points. We see some more trading post upgrades going around. And Darklings make their way over further to this westernmost island. Yet more trading posts. Dwarves go really heavy on trading posts this round. They have a decent number of dwellings down. And they secure one of the 8 VP towns for cult bumps, which looks great for them, continuing to help their cult presence. So at this point, all 3 copies of Water 1 are gone, which leaves halflings in the dust in that regard. But halflings have built out a couple of trading posts this round for points. We start to see some more action on the cults, some priests to air here. So Ryan this round feels like it's drawing to a close based on the number of actions where other players are. Ryan's still sitting on a lot of resources here. And once the key hexes have been claimed at this stage in the game, people playing pretty friendly here. Halflings and dwarves across the color wheel from each other here. Really no threatening of hexes there. Everyone's carved out a lot of their town space at this point. Halflings down in the south here, no concerns about losing that town space, and has some town space lined up over on the bottom as well. So Ryan the Man builds out another dwelling here on G2. This priest production for him has been very nice thus far. Continues building out in the east here, or excuse me, in the west here. So Matt the Lesser with a little bit of a sad pass on the dwelling bonus tile, but that tile is as much a block as anything else. Manages to pass for 2 points and get onto coins going into the next round. Ryan the Man upgrades to a trading post in the one place that makes the most sense to do so. Manages to form yet another town, already on 2 towns, both priest towns, and up to 77 points. And overbuilds this town to score even more off of this bonus round. And because halflings had a cult step that they wanted to take here, where did they take that? Yeah, Deep Finesse really wanted to take that cult step onto air in order to get the air spade. Ryan, having seen that ahead of time, realizes has the tempo to be able to pass on to the dwelling scoring tile, which is great. It's the only pass tile this game for points. Deep Finesse last pass out of this round onto temp ship tile. Got a couple of cult digs coming in. And we go into round 5. Round 5 is a big building round. Checking in on scores here. Things have tightened up quite a bit. Witches are still trailing by a little bit, but Matt and Lester on Dwarves made up a lot of points this past round. Between getting a town, building out 3, 4 trading posts. Did I miss that? I think you might have built out 4 trading posts last round. And a couple pass tiles, a couple bonus points off of the bonus tile there. Witches, having passed first, do have enough power this time to go for the coins action. So their position looks really strong here. They've got a lot of structures out. They're on a bonus spade, and they've got a lot of resources in hand as well. So we'll see what they end up doing with that. Dwarves claim the workers action. Darklings now start to advance shipping. So this is a big building round. Ryan the Man does have one more. He does have his sanctuary, his stronghold available to build. But the main priority right now is to be able to connect. So currently, Darkling's board doesn't look like they have a ton of structures out. But if you look at it more closely, they've got a lot of their more expensive buildings built. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dwellings that are available to be built as well. So Ryan the Man here, if unthreatened, is going to be able to try to connect through the sort of north west here. So at this stage, his read is that he's going to be able to get network points by doing so. In any case, if he wants another town, would need to advance shipping. I guess that he's got advanced shipping either way. So at this stage, dwarves claim a copy of Earth 1. Darklings upgrade ship one more time. Offered even more leech. A lot of powerful structures this game. And it's something that witches manage to do up here is to get out their special landscape, which is usually pretty challenging. The prerequisite for that is to have 2 temples out. But George Shortwell has planned accordingly, lined it up nicely. You see the dwarf stronghold come out. Great points for that. Will help with a little bit of tunneling next round. And Ryan the Man locks up 1 key hex on his way to connect here with network. See a sanctuary come out for witches. Some really nice town planning here. It's a pretty obvious sanctuary town right there. And it's a sanctuary town immediately because witches do take fire 2 to help them in their journey to 3 towns here. Take the single cold step town. And now Darklings build out another dwelling since they've got access to this natural black here, continuing their push for network. Things are looking a little bit coin tight for Darklings at the moment. Another copy of Earth 1 goes, which means that halflings miss out on Earth 1 as well. I'd missed that. I actually thought that halflings had taken Earth 1. So Deep Finesse manages a no scoring favorite tile game, at least to this point in the game. Everyone continue to build out dwellings. Sort of northern area here is starting to become populated here. At the lesser tunnels there, before George Shortwell can think about taking that hex. Not that he necessarily would want to. And now Darklings with a 7-point pass off of the dwelling tile onto the priest tile, when will be the first to open the last round. So at this point, it looks like all of Darkling's issues are, issues. Darklings have set up very well. The only thing they seem to be a little bit short on were coins. They managed the first pass in order to fix that problem. Meanwhile, halflings managed to get on the dwelling scoring tile, which looks great for them. Got some more structures being upgraded and built out. Everybody passes out into the final round. So final round of the game is dwelling scoring. We've got a lot of players with a lot of resources. And Darklings here managed to take the coins action once again. I think that's their third of the game, perhaps. So they're sitting on 12 workers, 17 coins, 5 priests. They built out a lot of their structures at this stage. A little bit more fighting on the cults here. Halflings go for a water 3 favorite tile. Dwarves do a little bit of tunneling for points. Everybody's within about 10 points of each other on the board at this stage. We got George Shortwell at 90, Matt the Lesser at 99, Ryan the Man 98, Deep Finesse 93. And this is the final dig that allows Ryan the Man to connect his Darklings here. So now that he's connected, he can basically just maximize points for the rest of the game. Build out as many structures as possible with the resources he has. Halflings managed to take a second town. They ended up taking fire 2 in, I think it was the last round as well. So they've lined themselves up with 3 towns, which looks very nice as well. And to have that fire 2 helps them win in the fire cult as well here. See a trading post upgrade from Ryan the Man. Frees up another dwelling. Players are just finishing out their games here. So Deep Finesse on Halflings finally takes scoring favor. Manages to get Air 1 here. Matt the Lesser with another tunnel. Really taking advantage of the stronghold ability there. And we see witches building out their lonesome town in the northwest. So it looks like they'll have what it takes to get that town, upgrade shipping a couple times. Everyone just building out their dwellings to maximize their points here. Have a little bit of a network fight. George will ends up having to do an expensive trading post, which is painful, but no big deal. Ultimately, has the resources for it. And here's where Ryan the Man ends up building the stronghold, his Darklings, which you don't always see. In this game, literally has enough resources where it's not an issue at all. Pretty much has to build it out in order to get in order to get the other structures out. Frees up a trading post, gets an extra priest, and importantly, frees up the Darkling's special landscape, the prerequisite of which is to build the stronghold. So that's going to act as a dwelling for him here, which will help in the fight for network, as well as the round scoring. Which has managed their third town, which is great for them. Ends up taking the ship scoring town. And clever little bit of play here, uses the Witch's Landscape to take 3 steps on air and close out that cult, plus gain 3 power, which I think ends up being important for him, rather than taking the 5 bonus points. Ryan the Man's game continues looking great here. Obviously, he's just wrapping things up, building out more network. Looks like he'll have enough for 1 more trading post, 1 more dwelling for 16 network total. Which pretty insane. Witches have to upgrade shipping 2 more times in order to connect and be on 16 network. So what we see here is Darklings managing a good enough game with enough coins actions and clever play and managing to secure connection that they end up tying Stronghold Witches on network. And not just Stronghold Witches, I think George Orwell started round 1 with Stronghold 4 dwellings. A very strong economic opening. That'll just about do it. So, see halflings building out their town, grateful for the neighbor there. Little bit of cult position jockeying here from dwarves. And then Ryan the Man just spending his priest the last of the points he's going to get in during the game here. So I'm just going to go to the end of the game, let the final scoring play out here. D-Finesse spends some workers for points to dig the halfling's ability, then passes for bonus tile points as well. So we managed to have a different player win each of the cults here, which is pretty nice. And you see dwarves with, I guess, a couple of sad second places, but you can only have so many keys. You can only have so many cult wins when everyone's going for them so hard here. But dwarves do manage to get a pretty culty game in here. What's that? 20 points off of the cult. Some good points. They do come up short. They weren't able to connect during the game. I didn't really touch upon that, but this E7 hex would have been key for them. And by the time it was available to build a landscape, the dwelling ended up being more points anyways. And the ability to do a lot of tunneling there. That just about does it. So pretty close game top to bottom. Some digging that you don't usually see here from Darklings through the middle. And the victory for Ryan the Man. Deep Finesse only 2 points out of first place there. Game results. And I think this page is broken. We're not going to look at the stats, but I do have What do I have here? Two things. Uh-oh. No matter how many times I've streamed, I still feel like I'm figuring it out a little bit. Uh, okay, we're gonna show this screen. Am I showing this screen? Let's see. Yeah, so here's the standings for America Division One after 2 weeks. So Ryan the Man is in first place at the stage, 7-2-5 with the game and the win in round. Excuse me, geez, 7-2-5 having won the week one game, and then Deep Finesse and George Shortwell shortly behind there. So Matt the Lesser and 7-2-5 have both had their buys, so they're going to be able to play 3 more games. Ryan the Man, Deep Finesse, and George Short will still have 1 week to sit out here. So consider that accordingly for their scores. Another thing I noticed when I was looking up this replay here was that Ryan the Man recently hit top 5 ELO a couple days ago here, September 24th. Let's see if this is showing up on the screen. Well, not that interesting of a page anyways, I suppose, but the information is interesting. So congrats to him for that. That's a huge achievement. Some of the other winners on here you see recently, and even not very recently, obviously some really strong players. So leading the league, playing a lot of great games, and thought it was a good opportunity to highlight the winners game here. So hope everybody enjoyed. This was sort of a new format of streaming, a little bit of a recap instead of a live stream of a live game. It looks like we've been going for, how long have we been going for here? I don't know. I'm sure that's somewhere 45 minutes or so. So if you enjoyed it or if you watched the VOD and you care to let me know whether or not this was worth it, let me know. It's possible I'll do another 1 or 2 of these this season if there's interest. And I hope everybody has a good rest of your day or night. Take care, everybody.